Well, right now on this Wednesday walkabout, it's all about the long view and how things look from a distance, not necessarily up close and personal. So today I want to talk about changes that I'm going to be executing in the coming months, not necessarily weeks, because we have had record temperatures. It's been over 105, 106. We get a brief respite at the end of the week, but then the century mark temps come back. So not a lot of work, but a lot of planning, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So let's get started. Well, this is going to be kind of a quick and dirty Wednesday walkabout, because in about 20 minutes, I think Stuart, our NBC local affiliate, is going to come here. We're going to shoot a local news segment on gardening in the heat. So we're going to try to get in this Wednesday walkabout before we do so. Now, I just want to point out some of the things I am going to be doing in the coming months to make things look better, because things right now look pretty rough. And what I was talking about earlier was what I really care about at this point is just having things look good from a distance. And I am so surprised. I have had so many people drive by in the past 3 weeks. You know, I'm used to getting lots of people driving by when things look really good, but when things look less than their best, like right now, which is an understatement, I'm surprised so many people are driving by. And then it occurred to me that they're probably looking to see how my garden is faring in these torrid temperatures, if they can take any hints from mine just by looking to see what looks good and what looks bad, and maybe a little bit of schadenfreude going on there, because if mine doesn't look so great, they won't feel so bad about theirs not looking great either. Do you agree, Stuart?
I think that is possible. Yes.
I think that's absolutely possible. So again, I've been surprised at the number of people who have driven by. That said, from a distance, which is why we started out at the street, I don't think things look too bad. There's not any color going on, but this is where line, shape, and form are really my friends. And Stuart, if you can just kind of do a little sweep of the front borders, definitely the evergreens, the potted topiaries, and the tonal green on greens are definitely the heroes of the landscape right now. But I still want to make some changes based on what is performing, what's not, and thinking about the future based on how it's performing right now. So let's talk about the first thing. If you guys don't have some of these brightly colored flags, utility flags, you need to get some, because I find them absolutely indispensable, not only when I'm pointing out to people who might be helping me in the garden, but also to myself to remind me of maybe a good idea I had. And right now, this is one of those good ideas. My front garden is very overplanted right now, and that was intentional at the beginning because I was having to fill up a lot of space. I knew in the future that some of those things that I planted would have to be moved because things were getting too large, or a number of specimens in that area would be getting too large, and I would have to transplant one from that location to another location or into a pot. But this is the time of year when actually I'm very happy about that, because I can identify some voids in the garden, either because I have lost something due to the heat and drought, or because I just realized that there's a way that I could steal from Peter to pay Paul and make it look better in the future. And here's an example. So right now I've placed one of these utility flags right here, because I've got a series of boxwood along this edge. But I realized that I don't need 4 of them in this space. Now, when they were small, that was fine. But right now, I can get as much impact by removing one as by keeping it in place. So if you look up over here in this area that is right now very traumatized by the heat, because this area used to be, Stuart, if you can kind of show the canopy. This used to be in a lot of shade. Now it's in a lot of sun, and so the things that were here are really starting to suffer because the aspect and the light exposure has changed. So case in point, lots of this ground cover here, this creeping vinca minor, which really likes the shade better than full sun, has pretty much turned brown and crispy. And you can see here that there's kind of a hole, that there's this rhythm and repetition of these boxwood balls around the landscape until you get here and there's a void. Now in the past, this void wasn't real noticeable because there was other things filling it in. But right now you can see that I've got a great big hole right here. So I'm gonna fill this void by transplanting one of these. Again, I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to wait until temperatures cool. But I'm going to transplant one of these boxwood balls from over here to this spot right here. I sadly am going to go ahead and probably, because it's just not thriving, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this pumpkin vine, which I've been keeping my eye on, but every day in the late afternoon, it starts looking very, very tired, and it's requiring way too much water. So I'm probably gonna tear it out. I'm gonna remove lots of this crispy debris from the ground cover, tidy this up, transplant that boxwood ball right here, mulch it beautifully, and then I've done two things. I have filled in an empty section and made it look better and more consonant with the rest of the rhythm and repetition of the boxwood balls in my space. But I am also opening up a whole area here because I cut back some of the things that were growing in here that had turned crispy and dry to give them a fresh start. So I've cut those back, and now when I want to plant some seasonal color, when I want to plant my tulips, when I want to scatter some more seed for foxglove and columbine, I'll have an area in here now that I am free to do that unobstructed visually by one of these boxwood balls in the center. So that is just one change that I'm making. You'll notice over here that I've got some pruning work to do. I've lost some branches on some of the yews. I need to deep water some of these things, and I'm just going to basically do an assessment of everything in the garden and how it's performing. But my priority right now is how does it look when people are driving up and down the street? Because if it looks good from a distance, that's good enough for me right now. And speaking of people driving by, Stuart, I think our guests have arrived. News Channel 4. You want to show their truck? News Channel 4 has just pulled up, and they're probably waiting for me to do my news segment. So there you go, guys, a very brief but I think important Wednesday walkabout of things that you can identify now to do later in this hot as the Dickens summer landscape. Well, if you've held on this long, here is my outfit du jour. My sunglasses, which are quickly becoming a fave of mine, are Ray-Bans via Poshmark. My earrings are from Madewell. My dress is online from Amazon, and I have to tell you, there are so many different ways to style this dress. This is one way, and I'll show you another way in an upcoming episode. My necklace is from Janet Mavick's collection of Orchard Jewelry. I love it. This is a pair. And my sandals are from Target. Stuart, have I forgotten anything?
Thanks.
Okay, well, there you go. There's your outfit of the day.